Peace and blessings to the chosen. Shalom. First and foremost, all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akim pushing this truth for sincerity and charity. Risking their lives and freedom to do so. I'm the brother Elad, and I'm responding to the 5th episode of Season 1, The Beauty, which is titled Beautiful Billionaires. And boy, oh boy. The big thing on this one is just Esau. It's really just Esau. And to summarize what happened, spoilers, right? The top 5 billionaires in the world went to this place to get this injection that would make them young and physically attractive, and it's kind of like the fountain of youth for them. So they'd be in they ultimate prime, and there were like 5 or 6 of them. And at the end of it, when they got their results, and they were still in the room, one of them, the richest of them, actually, the richest one of them, gunned down everybody else in there, and stated that he could just use the insurance policy, and then had his team gun down everybody else. And then at the end of it, he burned down the entire mansion to hide any leak or evidence of foul play. And this is the nature of Esau Edom. He is greedy. He didn't even want to share the delight or the great indulgence with his fellow billionaire buddies. He didn't even want to share it with his fellow Idumeans, his fellow Edomite buddies. Hebrews 12:16, it says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright." So he's been shiesty from the beginning. He's been shiesty from the beginning. He's been untrustworthy for the beginning. All right, so let me start with 1 Timothy 6:9. "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." And this is why you're seeing all of this Epstein list and Pizzagate stuff, because these Edomites, self-proclaimed white people, have, and it's just the top of them. they evil to their own people. The scripture talks about the people that are evil to their own selves. To whom will they do good? So they ain't never showed Jake no mercy. They ain't never showed the other nations no mercy or kindness. And they do evil to their own people. But this is why you seeing the Pizzagate stuff and all of these, really deep, dark, what's that daggone movie, Eyes Wide Shut kind of stuff coming out to light. How the things that Esau sought up. Obadiah 1:6, how are the things of Esau searched up? How are his hidden things sought up? Yeah, because he goes deep to hide his secrets, his dirty, slimy, back stabbing, betraying secrets, and he's greedy. He wouldn't even want to share with his own brethren, his own kind. As soon as Alexander, the Idumean, right, and Amalekite, the chief tribe of Edom, as soon as he perished, his men after him divided the kingdom and turned on each other. They went after his I believe, I could be wrong, they went after his own sons. So let's talk about his end. Revelation 12:9, it says, "And a great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." So this devil called the devil and Satan, who deceived the world, is going to be cast down. He's going to fall. He's going to be defeated. And who is this talking about? This is talking about that light bearer. Isaiah 14:12, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?" So, who deceived the world, right? How did he deceive the world? How did he weaken the nations? He went over to every nation and bombed, obliterated, and gave them democracy. He went to every nation and slaughtered, enslaved, raped, pillaged, and robbed. Who is this talking about? Okay, who is the light bearer? Lucy means light, and fur means bearer. Who bears the knowledge or the wisdom that everybody is going towards, that people are drawn to, right? Meaning that they had that particular party has the power over the world. Who is taking notes from the doctrines of this man? Is the democracy, the Christianity, the white supremacy, right? This is his light bearer, and he's a false light bearer. His wisdom is wickedness. But he went around the world and he spreaded these ideologies and these ideations of white supremacy, of democracy, of Christianity. He spreaded his doctrines across the world, and that's how he deceived the world. And that's how he weakened the nations, when he turned everybody into homosexuals, when he turned daughters into whores and harlots. He goes to countries that were once beautiful, Libya, Somalia, Iraq, whatever. Then he gives them democracy in exchange, because guess what he found out? You have oil, you have gold, you have minerals, you have resources. So now your country has a dictator, and Esau Edom establishes a puppet leader. So Isaiah 14:16, it says, "They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the whole earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?" So this says the man. It says man, a human, a man, a person of flesh. This ain't no a creeping, crawling creature with horns and a pitchfork. It says the man that's called a devil, that's called a serpent, the man that's called Lucifer, the man that is called Satan, right? The man, M-A-N, the man. Is this the man that dropped bombs on Hiroshima, Nagasaki? Is this the man that made the sun come to the earth? Is this the man that said he was the God of destruction? Is this the man that will give you democracy because he found resources in your backyard? Is this the man that told you had a dictator and you needed a change of leadership, and he put puppet leaders in your in your leadership? Is this the man that spoiled and robbed everybody? Is this, when they look down at this guy, when Esau Edom is completely taken out of power and he's no longer a ruler, when he's no longer has his bunkers and his missiles and his tanks, when all of that is destroyed and beat, because this devil is going to be beat, the Lord is going to bring this devil to his barest and bring him to his true state of the abased man which he is. Everybody's going to see Esau in his nakedness. And they're going to say, is this that man who was terrifying everybody? And that's why it says the man, because he's nothing more. He's professed himself to be God. He's put up the image of himself to be something greater than he is. So Obadiah 1:4 says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al Shai." So Here it is. Esau, Edom. This is Obadiah talking about Edom. He said Edom exalted himself as the eagle, right? He put his image as the eagle in all the kingdoms he ruled in. He threw the flag of the eagle. His emblem was the eagle. His spiritual bird is the eagle, right? And he set his nest among the stars. He lied and said he landed on the moon. He put satellites in the orbit of the atmosphere. He and then the pride of him, right? In verse 3 says, the pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high. So he always dwelt in very sketchy places. The clefts of the rocks, the caves of the earth, right? The Mount Seir, which is just a big ass cave, right? Caucasus Mountains, a big ass cave. Khazaria, right? He's dwelt in these very cavish valleys of the earth, which I'll just get it in Job, whose habitation is high, because now he's sitting in a high place on the world after he lied, stealed, and killed to get rich. And said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So he's prideful. He think that he can't be stopped. He think that nobody who can make war with the beast. This is Esau, Edom. This is the man. So in the ancient world, it says in Job 30 and 6, it says to dwell in the cliffs and the valleys, in the caves of the earth and in the rocks. This is the spelunker. This is the cave diver, the mountain climber. This is the guy that likes to explore these kind of things. We're talking about Esau, Edom, right? He said he wouldn't even keep the. He said, I disdain to have set with the dogs of my flock in the first verse, because he was afraid that these guys were gonna do you know what to his animals, have sex with his animals. Okay, right? This is the guy that eats blood, man. Who wants his steak uncooked, red, right? Let me see. What's the one I wanted? But back to that how you say his greed, his nature that's in him, right? Eliphaz, Esau's son, father of Teman. What does Eliphaz translate to? My God is fine gold. God, gold, oil, and diamonds, or drugs, right? That is the God that Esau, Edom worships. The God that gets him money. He's completely into greed. This is the spirit that is in him is worships money. He's greedy. He snake his own people, slime his own people. And that's exactly what I just had to say about this episode right here. And then at the end of that episode, he slimed his own people. Then he burnt the evidence of foul play. And that's why it says, how the things of Esau searched up. Because that's what he does. He played dirty, and then he changes the history. He changes the narratives. He burns all the evidence he can find. And, you know, you can't burn all the evidence, you know. What's in the dark gonna come to light. Let me see if I can find. There's one scripture that say, whatever is in the dark is gonna be revealed, or something of that nature. But I think it was Isaiah. It could have. Let me see. If I don't find it, I'll just post it in the description or whatever. But it was something that talked about how eventually everything gonna be revealed. I'll take this one. Luke 12 and 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. So no matter how much evidence he sweeps under the rug, he buries, he burns down to the ground, he hides in his basement, eventually this stuff is gonna come out, because when you're a habitual liar, you have to keep lying to keep up the story. And guess what? Eventually your lies are not going to connect. Your lies are not going to make sense anymore. Eventually people are going to start seeing through your bullshit. And the truth which was so long without fruit, gonna flourish. 2 Ezra 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish, and corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which had been so long without fruit, shall be declared. So we're living in that age of deception and deceit, where Esau, Edom, has done so much lying in the world, and lied and told you so many false narratives and false doctrines, and has polluted the minds of the people with his mentality and his ways, that this truth is being brought out. And one of the major ways it's being brought out is the Hebrew Israelites pushing this message on the highways and hedges, and bringing this out day in, day out, on the internet, where the YouTube is doing the heavy lifting and showing you these things where you can go and see these words. Second Ezra 6:27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. So it's not forever that this guy is gonna keep terrorizing the world, right? And just robbing, and he's not gonna continue to get away with this. Revelation 6:16, it says, and said to the mountain, nope. Revelation 6:14, and the heaven departed as a scroll, and it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out their places, and the kings of the earth, and the rich men, and the great men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So you saw Edom's nature is to what? Now, generally, these kings of the earth is not all Edomites. It's going to be other nations. It's going to be Ammon, Moab. It's going to be Ishmael, Ham. It's going to be the rich of the other nations who own bunkers. And they're going to say to the rocks to fall on them, so that they could be protected in the bunkers when the wrath of the Lord come. And they're going to be preserved just to go into slavery. The elites of this world, the riches of this world, are going to be preserved in these made bunkers to go into direct captivity. Because the judgment and the wrath of the Lamb is going to be partaken in the nuclear global destruction. And then, it's also going to be chariots shooting down and beaming up the people that need to be brought out of this place. And it's going to be much destruction. But the elites that are preserved in those bunkers, they're going to be the joyride, the first run of slavery, hardcore captivity. And that's just Esau's nature of going into those rocks again, trying to hide in those caves again, because he's a caveman. But nevertheless, Lord willing, that was edifying. Signing off at that. Shalom.